I want to begin with a meditation before we get into anything, before we open the space. So just inviting you to close the eyes and just take a moment to notice your body. Take a moment to notice your breath, feeling the heartbeat, feeling the nervous system. Just taking a moment to notice where you are in this moment, where your human, your body is in this moment, where you are entering this space from. Beginning to feel the weight and presence of your body. Feeling the physicality of your body, the weight of your seat, if you're sitting, if you're lying down. And we're just allowing the presence of our body, the weight of our body to ground us. Relaxing the shoulders, noticing if we have any tension in the jaw, around the eyes. Just inviting relaxation into the body. And noticing how the body wants to respond to that. Maybe there's a little bit of movement the body asks for, just to settle a little bit deeper. Maybe there's some deeper breath the body asks for. Maybe a stretch, maybe a yawn. And just seeing if we can drop a little bit deeper into the body, a little bit deeper into somatic presence. We're giving the body time to attune to and acclimate to this moment, to this co-creation, to whatever is alive and moving in your life. And just noticing what it feels like to just take this moment. Noticing if there's any emotions arising, noticing if there's any tension in the body. Maybe there's some sensation we can't necessarily define. Maybe there are some thoughts bouncing around, and just observing that, recognizing everything that you are bringing into this moment with love. And understanding that everything that you are bringing into this moment has a part to play, known or unknown, in this co-creation. Everything is welcome because it is. And noticing if you feel that there is something in the body, emotion, sensation, thought, or otherwise, that you feel is not welcome. You don't have to know what it is intellectually. Just noticing if there's a sense of that comes up. And just taking a moment to like invite that aspect in. And choose to trust in the sacred role that that aspect has to play in this moment, in this co-creation. Mm. And maybe beginning to feel a sense of deeper embodied wholeness, being here fully, every aspect, being in the body, present with the body. And from here, we're going to bring our awareness back to our weight, the weight of our body, right? Beginning to feel how gravity holds us to the earth. And really use your imagination here as well. And as you drop down and into the body, beginning to expand that awareness beyond your body, beneath you, into the earth. And you're just slowly reaching the awareness downwards. Noticing when you start to notice, start to feel. The presence of earth. And again, really imagining, really allowing the inner eye, everything is welcome here. Noticing when you start to feel the presence of earth and noticing what that feels like for you, however it comes up. And anchoring your awareness into that sensation or impression or image. Sinking your awareness into that sensation. And just allowing the awareness to travel deeper into this sensation, into the presence of earth. Beginning to feel the pulsing beat and rhythm of her heart. So giving yourself a moment to attune to that, allowing the imagination to support you, reaching the awareness through the earth until you begin to sense, feel, imagine the pulsing beat of her heart rhythm. And just noticing what that feels like for you. Noticing what that rhythm feels like. Noticing how you can sense that rhythm. And allowing that rhythm to also move through your own body, allowing your body to be rocked by that rhythm, entrained to that rhythm. Feeling the breath of earth, feeling the earth breathing beneath you. This ever so subtle expansion and contraction. And as you attune to this breath, allowing your own breath to entrain to it, trusting your intuition, trusting what you feel. And feeling the breath of earth moving through your own body. Feeling her breathing into you. Connecting your awareness to your root center. Really dropping into the root. And connecting to the downward descent of energy, spiraling inwards and downwards. And following this energy from the root down into the earth. And allowing this descending energy to be an extension of your own body, anchoring your body, rooting your body deep into the earth. And noticing how the whole body shifts. Maybe it's subtle, maybe it's not so subtle. Noticing how your breath, your nervous system, your heart rhythm, even the flow of water and electricity through the body is shifting, is entraining to earth. Noticing how your connection to earth is a deeply somatic experience, a body experience that directly influences your physiology, your biology. And from this rooted space, beginning to open your awareness up towards the heavens, feeling your body rooted, and actually allowing that rootedness to open you upward. Beginning to send out threads of awareness into the cosmos. And as you are sending out these threads of awareness, noticing when you begin to feel the celestial frequency of our heavens, noticing how that feels for you. Still feeling your rootedness, still feeling your groundedness, reaching up from that space. And as you reach out into the heavens, beginning to feel the pulse, the rhythm of the galactic core. The rhythm and pulse of the cosmos. Noticing how you experience that rhythm, how you intuitively sense and understand that rhythm. And feeling that rhythm in your own body, allowing your body to entrain to that rhythm. Sensing the movement of our planets. Beginning to sense this movement, this dance of the celestial bodies that you are a part of. And connecting to our sun within this dance. And noticing how you feel the presence, the spirit of our sun. Noticing the sensation, right? The embodied sensation and experience you are having. And just beginning to invite the light, the warmth of our sun. Inviting that into the body and noticing where in the body that light gravitates. And just really feeling, allowing the warmth of his spirit into that part of the body. Allowing the spirit of this equinox into the body, into the channel. Knowing it is not necessary to understand, to define, to know. Allowing the spirit of this equinox in as a sensation, as an energy. Trusting that your body knows how to receive this energy, how to co-create with this energy. Allowing the spirit of the equinox to begin to align energies in the body. Not needing to know or understand, but just intentionally allowing for that, noticing how that arises in the body. Noticing where in the body this energy goes, where in the body is asking for deeper alignment. Feeling the earth beneath you, feeling the heavens above you, feeling your body as a channel holding, intimately connected to both worlds, both energies. And continuing to allow alignment to arise organically. Noticing if there's any movement that is desired. Bringing your awareness to your heart center, where heaven meets earth. And really dropping into the heart center here. Feeling how the heavens, how the cosmos are grounded into earth here in the heart. Spirit is grounded into matter. Noticing what that feels like for you. And from this space, from this heart space, opening up this collective space. And just inviting you to do the same as a co-creator, as a part of this weaving, opening up this space. Feeling the weight of your body, your physicality, your presence. Maybe beginning to open the eyes. Coming back into the space you are in. So taking a moment to look around you. Really like drop into where you are. So anchoring this space that we've opened, anchoring it into where you are. So today we are coming together, collective co-creation, collective gridwork. We're going to be exploring, redefining, reorienting our relationship to gridwork to earth keeping, really refining how we orient to and embody this path, really deepening into what it actually means for us and feels like for us. We're going to be exploring shadow a little bit. We're going to be exploring refinement, refining ourselves as earth keepers, as channels, whatever language you want to use, right? Whatever language resonates with you. Beginning to notice, the energies that we all carry, densities, beliefs, ego, wounded patterning, trauma, that might be tied up in our relationship to earth and potentially influencing and distorting how we are showing up, and doing this lovingly, not nitpicking, right? Not looking for something to judge or reject. Exploring decomposition, exploring the art of grafting. Exploring right relationship, which is what all this is. And connecting to, of course, our local earth grid. Being an earth keeper is not just about our personal relationship with earth. That's obviously the core of it, right? That's the space from which we explore and express. But it is our personal relationship as well as service to the collective relationship we have with earth, right? We are not isolated individuals existing in our own bubbles. We are a part of the world around us. This is something the earth teaches us. So we don't need to spend much time out in nature, right? Witnessing nature, witnessing the ecosystem that is nature, to recognize how absolutely interconnected life is. One of the greatest wounds we have in our relationship to earth as humans is that we have collectively severed or attempted to sever our integratedness with earth, right? And that's a huge wound, because earth is not only our mother, but she is the origin of our biological life, right? So by severing ourselves, by extricating ourselves from this integrated relationship, from being a part of the ecosystem, we open up a lot of wounding, right? That obviously snowballs into more wounding and more wounding. And now we have a collective consciousness within humanity that holds a lot of wounding, a lot of trauma, a lot of shadow, a lot of pain in our relationship to earth. And being an earth keeper it's coming to know that space within ourselves really, really deeply, really intimately, with so much love. And through our own personal integration, serving the collective, right? Because as we are clarifying our personal relation, right, as we're clarifying our vessels, the threads that we are holding and carrying, we are ultimately sending that out as a ripple into the collective, right? Serving the collective, supporting the collective in coming into deeper relationship with this story. So one of the most important things here that I have found as I have kind of unearthed this path within myself, and as I got to know my desire to deepen in this work, to deepen in my relationship to earth, to her spirits, to the plants, to the water, as I have gotten to know my desire to be in deeper devotion, be of deeper service, there has been a big theme of shadow work and integration. So I thought it was so beautiful that I drew this lavender card at the beginning of the call. And I'm just going to read this line again that was in the Oracle book. Connect to the energy of the spiral to journey deep into your shadows, and allow this self-organizing system to facilitate higher alignment to your foundation. shadow work is such a big part of this, right? And this is refinement, right? As we deepen, right, our capacity for all of this deepens. We get clearer, and through clarity, we begin to identify all of these threads that are alive in us, right? We carry our lineage, we carry the stories of the collective, we hold all these threads to these stories within ourselves. And we can choose to bypass them and like ignore them because they're uncomfortable, or we can choose to come into relationship with them, not clear them, not remove them, right? They're not like diseases, but we come into relationship with them. We begin to identify our shadow. We begin to identify the ego, the belief systems, the wounding, the trauma that is not our own, right? Yet we still hold it. So these energies do influence and distort our channel. You know, if they are ignored, if they are bypassed. To be an earth keeper is to face the shadow. And there is a big shadow here. And I don't say that to like be heavy. You know, I don't say that to like make anyone feel bad, right? I say that with joy because this is the invitation to face the shadow with love and with joy, because that is where incredibly deep healing arises. Recognizing that I hold threads to all of these collective shadows within myself and taking responsibility for those threads, not identifying with them, not shaming myself for them, simply taking responsibility for integrating them. I hold these threads, and therefore I will choose to integrate them. I will choose to explore them and unearth them and enrich myself and my understanding of myself, of earth, of humanity through getting to know them, right? And the beauty of this is that the earth guides us in this. She facilitates this. Right? If we are open to meeting these parts of ourselves, if we're open to seeing this within the world around us, she will guide and facilitate deep integration and healing. And they will naturally arise, all of this will naturally, organically arise in the cultivation of our relationship with Earth, in developing and refining our channel, so to speak. So very often, a lot of what we experience as a block or a belief system or a fear or something that maybe feels like, oh, there's a little something in the way. There's a little something that needs clarity. There's a little something, you know, that's maybe blocking me. Very often, these are tied into these shadows. They have a thread into these shadows, into this wounding, into these energies, densities, stories, belief systems, whatever you want to call them, right? And some of these threads are going to feel much more personal to us, right? Some of these threads we're actually throughout our life going to kind of co-create with. We're going to tie ourselves into that, and we're going to have themes in our life and our relation to Earth as well as to just others, right? Because our relationship to our community and to others is a reflection of our relationship to Earth. Right? We're going to notice that there are certain themes, certain threads that are dominant for us. I'm just inviting someone into the space. And some of them are not going to hit home in that same way. You know, some of them will not be as prevalent or as significant. Right? And as each individual faces and integrates these shadows, right, the collective over time is purified. The density of the shadow that is held dissolves more and more over time, right? This is why our inner work, the work we do with ourselves, the way we show up for ourselves directly serves the collective. This is right relationship. This is doing the work fully. It's continually showing up. And I just want to add that being an earth keeper is not being perfect. It's not about perfection. It's not being the perfect clear channel who's all, you know, I don't have any distortion. I don't have any of this or that. I'm just here being perfect. It's devotion to the path. It's commitment to showing up and being with everything that arises through this path. The grief, the rage, the joy, the pleasure, okay, the fulfillment, the bliss, the curiosity, all of it. There is a direct connection or relationship between our ability as humans to perceive and see and feel the sacredness of something and our immediate desire to have it. I want that, or I want to understand it, or I want to get something from it. And this has been like a really important piece for me, because looking at this as an innocent compulsion that simply needs to be healed and loved, right? Entering relationship with any aspect of earth with the subconscious agenda of, I would like to get something out of this. I would like this to validate my ego in some way. I would like this to validate a story about myself that I need. I would like to extract some of this magic, some of the wisdom, even the way we relate to the codes and wisdom held within earth, held within the plants. It's so easy and so natural to subconsciously enter that with a desire to extract. And observing that and loving it and just understanding that, like, it's absolutely natural for us to go there, right? Because we come from a lineage that, for most of us, has been doing that unconsciously. And we live in a world that does that unconsciously. And if we're doing that in our relationship to nature, we're doing it to ourselves in some degree, or we're allowing others to do it to ourselves. Okay? So not to mention how we show up in service and we subconsciously allow others to extract from us. Right? And we begin to associate others extracting our wisdom as like, oh, I'm serving, right? And we believe that the earth is serving me when I extract from her, or when I get something that I need from her. So this is really a deep purification of relationship. And that, to me, is a big part of what earth keeping is, right? The earth is an ecosystem that relies on connection and relationship. And so relationship is a core theme that is going to continually arise. So there's a lot of deconstruction to do, essentially, right? There's a lot to decompose. Decomposition is a part of the earth-keeping path. Decomposition is one of the greatest teachings of nature, right? Nature doesn't decompose because she hates or judges. She decomposes because it's simply time to go, for it to go, whatever is being decomposed. And the decomposing matter of that shadow becomes the fertile soil that nourishes and supports the continual opening and deepening of your path as an earth keeper. Now, not all things need to be utterly dissolved and decomposed, right? Some things can be grafted, right? And I love the term grafting, right? Grafting, as I'm sure many of you know, is a horticultural technique where the upper part of a plant is grafted onto the lower part of the plant, or the rootstock of a plant, right? And a lot of shadow work is decomposition, which is integration. But another element to that is grafting, right? Pruning away that which is no longer of service, but not necessarily throwing the baby out with the bathwater, right? Identifying the rootstock, right? That which we are like preserving, pruning away that which is no longer of service, right? The aspects of it that are no longer of service, and grafting onto that rootstock what it is we are intending to grow, right? So there's a lot of things that come up in our relation to earth and our service to earth on the earth keeping path that require grafting. And I would say in all aspects of our life, actually, right? Which is a constant willingness to self-inquire and take responsibility, not in the self-critical, paranoid, I'm doing something wrong, I'm not good enough, not in that way, right? Self-inquiry and self-responsibility and shadow work rely deeply on self-love, right? Your body needs to feel safe and loved enough that it can begin looking at itself, looking at yourself, seeing those elements that are asking to be pruned or decomposed, without it feeling like an attack or like a wound or like a trauma or perpetuating a past trauma, right? This is a really important piece to this. We're not martyrs here. We're not looking for those aspects of ourselves that are not good enough, okay? And the voice that says this is not good enough is, for me personally, an indication that we're not looking to decompose here, right? So just to like create a little bit of clarity around, how do I know if this is something I'm being asked to decompose or to graft, or if this is just a wound that I have and a way that I am not trusting myself or doubting myself or punishing myself. And I think that the voice that speaks without love, right? The voice that says like, you're not good enough, or like, you're not worthy, or you've done something bad, is not a voice that we want to pursue. That's a voice that we can explore through shadow work, right? And so the invitation in there would be like, why does this voice believe that? And rather than decomposing that thing that the voice is judging, how can we decompose, right? Integrate the voice itself, right? We're never pursuing self-judgment, self-doubt down the path of decomposition, right? And that's really, really important, because this is a path of love. Loving yourself like the earth loves you, right? So there's a willingness to explore, to question, and to deconstruct lovingly. An example of this, right? Something that I've personally grafted is my orientation to gridwork, right? Gridwork, right? What even is that, right? This is like a way that we can support, heal, integrate the energies within Earth, the Earth grid itself. I don't want to create like the idea that gridwork is one specific thing and there's one way to do it, because again, there's no template. The way that I personally orient to gridwork is really just an extension to everything I'm speaking to. It's us showing up to the land, to our local earth grid, right? It's not like abstract, I'm connecting to the idea of earth. It's us going out to the land. It's a real embodied practice of everything that we're speaking about. Coming into relationship with the land and supporting the local earth grid, supporting the energies that are alive in the earth grid. This doesn't always have to be healing, right? This can also be co-creating something. This doesn't have to be something we consciously know, right? We don't have to have like a plan for this. We don't have to have specific instructions for this. This is the way that we, through our presence, through our willingness to feel and to listen, support Earth, the Earth grid in its personal integration. Okay, in the same way we're integrating all of these stories, all of the experiences I've had, all of the trauma I've had, right? In the same way we're integrating that within the grid of our body, of our being, the Earth is doing so as well. And different locations on Earth hold different stories. And so this is us like showing up, holding space, and asking how we can be of service to this process, to this experience that the Earth is moving through. So in relation to what I was speaking to before, right, how I personally grafted in my orientation to gridwork is I began to notice when I explored gridwork, when I desired, when that desire came up of like, wanting to do more grid work, wanting to serve the earth in this way, I noticed that this was something that I and others around me were entering from a little bit of a masculine space of fixing, saving, correcting, right? This feeling of like, okay, well, there's like an imbalance here, there's some wounding here, there's something that needs to be corrected, so I'm going to go in, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to correct it. I'm going to save, right? Now, the masculine principle is obviously a very sacred principle, and it is very often the perfect medicine, right? The masculine principle offers so much structure and safety and direction. But when we are solely oriented to this principle, right, we lose the plot, essentially, right? A lot of the damage that has been done to the earth, a lot of the ways we have harmed the earth, arose from an imbalanced or distorted, overactive masculine principle, right? The masculine principle getting out of hand, being overvalued, which then caused the loss of or dampening of the feminine principle, right? And because we're steeped in this mentality, what I'll call patriarchal mentality, which is, just for lack of a better word, what I'm speaking to when I say the word patriarchal, is simply a society or a construct that values the masculine principle over the feminine principle, to the point of where the feminine principle is silenced or lost altogether, right? So because we're so steeped in this mentality, we often orient to healing, to amending, through fixing, saving, and correcting, right? We orient to service through doing, right? And this kind of saving, fixing mode actually doesn't allow us to be available to what the earth might be asking, right? When you're in fixing mode, you're not listening. And I'm sure we've all experienced like offering something to someone and them going into fixing mode and completely missing what we're giving them in the first place, right? And so it is important to like notice this within ourselves, right? Integrating the feminine into our orientation to grid work, into our orientation to earth keeping, right? We begin to understand that one of the many reasons that our earth has been mistreated and disrespected in the way that she has is because we as humans have forgotten how to be with earth, right? How to listen, how to cultivate relationship, right? Which is feminine principle. One of the greatest wounds the earth holds is how we forgot her, is how we don't listen to her. We don't take time, right? We need something to come out of every connection. If I'm going to sit down and do this work and connect to this or connect to that, I need to get something out of it that I can talk about, that I can show, that I can prove, that I can understand, right? And we come in with an energy of extraction. And this is just lovingly observing how we are an extension of the world around us, an extension of our ancestry, an extension of all of the stories humanity holds. And we're going to bring these threads into our experience, right? We're conditioned to act rather than just be and receive and wait, right? We're conditioned to value action above inaction and receptivity. Now, action is very important. I would say action is a deeply sacred part of earth keeping. And there are earth keepers who are much more oriented to action, and that's their path, right? But it is so important that our action, right, the masculine principle of action is rooted in the feminine principle, okay? Right now, there's a lot of humans trying to fix what we've done to earth. It's a lot of action that is almost like action for the sake of action, right? I have to do something about this, right? Action from a place of desperation. And for action to truly serve, it must be rooted in the feminine principle of receptivity and relationship, right? The action of the masculine serves the feminine, right? Serves essentially relationship and connection. So the rootstock here, right? The rootstock of that which we are preserving is service to the earth, grid work, earth keeping, right? This idea of showing up in service. But we recognize, right? And in my process, I recognize that what was actually growing from this rootstock in my attempt to support, serve, heal, amend was actually maybe not fully serving, right? I began to identify aspects of that plant which was growing from the rootstock that was not in full alignment to the heart of my prayer and intention. So we learn to recognize and really see and be with what is growing from our rootstock, right? And we choose to be constantly willing to graft, not only our personal relating to earth, but our practices, our ideologies, our narratives, right? To graft is to begin to feel into what part of this is ready to die or be decomposed, to serve my intention, my prayer, my path. And when we graft, we prune, right? So for me, it was realizing what grows from the rootstock was not a pure service, right? And that was a piece that needed to be pruned. And for me, that looked like pruning savior complex, pruning fixing as a trauma response, pruning action for the sake of action or to alleviate the sense of helplessness that I have, but maintaining the rootstock of service, of grid work, of earth keeping, of sacred action, aligned action. And the new plant that I graft, right, that I anchor into the rootstock is action in service to relationship, right? Action that arises from deep embodied receptive relating. Action embodied in listening, right? Listening, receiving, and anchoring my sense of service into what I am, how I am, and not just what I do, right? So this feminine awareness of relating and of connection, we begin to understand grid work as cultivating relationship to land. And everything that arises, action included, arises from what is, because we're actually listening. We're putting aside the idea that, like, I can fix this, I need to do something about this, I potentially know better. We're putting that aside and we're actually listening, and we're being open to potentially receiving something, a message, guidance, a sensation, an experience that's not what we expected, that doesn't maybe immediately alleviate our sense of urgency or our desire to serve, because we're not always asked to serve in the way we want to serve, in the way our ego would desire us to serve, right? So this art of grafting can be brought into all aspects of this work and all aspects of our life, right? Working with the earth grid, earth activism, working with plants and medicines. Decomposition and grafting are one of the ways we develop integrity and embodiment on our path, because it is from grafting and decomposition that new growth arises. And this feels important right now because it's the spring equinox. This is a time of new growth. This is a time of rapid growth, right? Of renewal, of rebirth. We move through winter and autumn for a reason, right? The earth knows that she needs to decompose. So when we are feeling or experiencing blocks, when we feel that we're in need of clarity, when we desire more direction, when we desire deeper connection, right, or guidance on this path, and we're not sure where to get it, I have found that the art of decomposition, the art of grafting, right, are incredible modalities to play with, especially when we're opening to new growth, right? We have to clear away, so to speak, that which is ready to die and decompose or be pruned in order to make space for new growth, right? And as humans, we have a lot of resistance to that because we resist death. So we're eternally returning to the earth and the sacred teachings and wisdom of earth, who knows that new growth does not arise unless we are decomposing, pruning, and integrating, essentially. So today we're specifically exploring our relationship to our local earth grid, and that's because our path as oracular channels, as key holders, as earth keepers, is here, right? It's literally where we are in this moment. Every location on earth holds a unique spirit, and that unique spirit is open to co-creation. And it's important that we are rooting and anchoring into this land, right? The land we are living on, the land we're having a daily relationship with, right? And this also means rooting into our own body. Your body's an extension of earth, right? It's an extension of the living organism of earth. So embodying the earth-keeping path is grounding from the abstract and the ideas and being here in the body, on the land, with the land. Our body is the vessel through which earth speaks, right? Our nervous system, right? Our somatic sensation, as we integrate our body, literally our human, back into earth, as a part of earth, as a creature of earth, we begin to recognize that so much of her story is moving through us. And we begin to recognize, like, I don't have to sit here and meditate until the message appears. I can also sit here and be with what's alive in me and begin to notice that, like, there's this like line that gets blurred between me and the earth, right? And it's no longer just like, this is me and that's you and this is my thing and that's your thing and I need to figure out you and I need to reach outside of myself to connect with you over there. Those lines get blurred, right? Because we're literally integrating back as a part of earth. And we begin to notice so much begins to arise, our own emotions, our own memories, our own stories, our own shadows, our own triggers. And we begin to realize how those are actually intimately woven in with the earth, with our local earth grid. And it becomes this incredibly co-creative experience. And a lot of this is like self-trust, right? Trusting ourselves, right? Because if we are the channel, if we are the medium for communication, we begin to actually trust the body, trust sensation, trust every emotion, even the ones that are like frustration, boredom, this isn't working, I want something else. Like, those are some of the juiciest threads to explore. And if fully explored, you know, the self-doubt, I can't do this, I'm not allowed to do this, if fully explored, they open up such a deep doorway for healing, not just ourselves, but for collective healing and for healing and integration within the earth grid. So as we move into the attunement, this is like a super organic, meditative, free flow process, right? We're just making sound. We're dropping into our body. I'm obviously going to guide some exploration, you know, into the land around you. You don't have to be outside. If you want to be outside, you can. If it's too cold, you can easily connect from inside. And we're just making sound. And we're allowing the sound that we're making to just be like our vibration. We don't have to find a song. No specific sound has to arise. We're just allowing the sound to be an extension of us. So whatever we're feeling, every emotion, the energies, the thoughts, the sensations, everything that's coming up, we're just allowing it into the voice, whether that is pleasure, whether that is grief, whether that is frustration, whether that is confusion, whatever is arising is it, right? It's a part of the transmission. It's a part of the co-creation. And we're getting really curious about them and we're allowing them into the voice and just intuitively allowing our voice to express the energy of what we're feeling or experiencing. And this can give really deep insights as to, you know, what we were speaking of before, some of these shadows, you know, because they do arise and they're a part of the process. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. This is what we're here for. This is the work. And there's actually, the deeper we come into this work, we recognize that like so much of the joy and the pure childlike wonder is in the shadow. It's on the other side of the shadow. So we're here to love and mentor with the shadows. And again, everything you experience is part of the transmission. So can we just trust that literally everything is perfect? So just inviting everyone to just begin dropping into this space Just notice what your body wants to do. How do you want to drop into the space? Maybe inviting the eyes to close. Inviting relaxation into the body. Connecting to your sacred curiosity. Inviting in the mystery of all of it. Really allowing that mystery to just be. And noticing like how there's a relaxation that comes when we soften into the mystery. Nothing needs to be done or known. And just beginning to connect to the land that's around you. So maybe you can look at it or begin visualizing it. And we're just going to begin by really honoring the spirit of the local earth grid. So you can actually reach out and maybe ask for permission to do some co-creation. Also honoring the ancestors of the land that we're on. Noticing your body, noticing any emotions, sensations, just noticing the energy that we're moving into this attunement with. Embracing all of it. Every little piece has a sacred role to play. And we're in silence still here, unless you really feel called to make sound. We're just really getting a sense of the earth around us. Connect to the soil. Feeling the earth element. Maybe you know what the soil around you looks like. Maybe it's clay, maybe it's sand, maybe it's, dark, moist soil. Maybe it's cold, maybe it's warm. We're really allowing sensation in. And we're honoring the earth element. And just as you allow your imagination to start exploring, just notice like where it takes you. Where are you going? Are you seeing different parts of the land around you? Are you just imagining? Where is your inner eye? Is your imagination taking you? And just get curious about where, right? Because there are already parts of your local earth grid that are speaking to you. And just start to notice if there's an energy that you start to feel or a feeling, right? How does it make you feel to connect to the land around you? And see if you can really drop into that feeling. Where do you feel it in your body? How do you feel it in your body? really dropping into that part of the body, really soaking up the sensation of feeling. And from that space, begin to make sound. From that space in the body, begin to make sound. Allowing whatever sound wants to come through, even if it's just quiet humming. And you're allowing the vibration of your voice to fill the space in the body. And notice what sound wants to come through. And as you're feeling that space in the body and listening to the sound of your voice, follow that back to this area that you were initially drawn to. Maybe it's a particular area on your earth grid. Maybe it's just a vision that you have. Go there. Notice what you see. And really anchor that into the body where you're feeling it in the body, the sound that is arising. And notice how whatever you're connecting to, whether it be a tree or a flower or grass or a plant or the earth or a river or stone, how you're directly experiencing, interfacing with its spirit through your body. Whatever you're feeling in the body in this connection is that interfacing. Trust it. Listen to the tone of your voice. What kind of energy is moving through the voice? What kind of emotion? Just notice it, feel it. Seeing if you can begin inviting the sensation of feeling into the whole body. Beginning to fill the body with this somatic sense of connection, using the voice to fill the body, to move this sensation through the body. Noticing if there are parts of the body that feel resistant to this energy. If there are parts of the body that feel less connected to this energy. And you're allowing your inner vision and imagination to shift. So if you find yourself imagining or exploring or connecting to different landscapes, scenery, just allowing that. And each time you notice something new, a tree, a river, a rock, earth, a field, a mountain, each time you notice something new, feeling how it moves in your body. How does your body respond to it? Where does it open? Where does it connect? Continuing to observe your voice, the sound of your voice. Noticing how the voice might change as it moves through the landscape. How the voice might change as you bring it into different parts of the body. Remembering that you are interfacing with a living consciousness. So inviting this consciousness to support you, to guide you. Begin a communication with it. What do you want to show me? Where do you want to take me? And just trust whatever comes up. Beginning to recognize how every sound that is moving through your voice is transmitting an energy. You don't need to understand it. Just feeling this energy. Trusting that there is a transmission moving through your voice, co-created by yourself and your local earth grid. And just softening into the mystery of it. Witnessing the emotions, the sensations, the energies that are arising. Feeling the mystery in all of it. Beginning to feel more familiar now with your local earth grid. Beginning to trust this connection. Feeling these beautiful threads of connection between your body, between your energy body, and the earth that surrounds you. Just beginning to witness how you perceive and experience these threads of connection. Really visualizing, imagining this. Noticing what parts of the body seem to be connecting. What parts of the body hold a strong connection. Not needing to understand, just witnessing it. Inviting more connection, more energy from the earth in through these parts of the body. Beginning to send your voice through these channels or threads of connection. Revitalizing these threads. Beginning to notice if there are parts of the body that seem to be missing this connection, that seem to be closed off to this connection. Just noticing where you intuitively go. Noticing if there are any emotions or sensations in this part of the body. Sending your voice to that part of the body, allowing whatever emotion or sensation is there to be expressed. Seeing what happens if you gently invite the energies of your earth grid to just begin to reach out and connect with this part of the body. Doing this slowly and tenderly. Allowing your voice to strengthen this connection. Notice how the energy of earth is reaching out to you. Trusting whatever is arising, softening and surrendering into it. Really feeling your body as a vessel for earth to fill. Allowing her into you. Noticing what parts of the body she gravitates to. Where does she bring her medicine? Where does she bring her presence? Honoring every emotion, every sensation that is arising, any thoughts. And if there are thoughts coming up, inviting the spirit of earth into those thoughts, letting her fill them, letting her soften them. Connecting again to these invisible threads of connection between you, between the earth. And this time beginning to travel through these threads, through these channels. Really allowing your inner eye to guide you. And following them out into the landscape around you. Really feeling how they move from you and into the earth. Feeling how they anchor and root into your local earth grid. Allowing your awareness to be immersed in the earth around you. Feeling the pulse of the earth grid around you. Feeling her breathing. Noticing what sensations arise for you, what emotions arise for you. What textures do you sense in the earth around you? Feeling those textures in the earth around you as well as in your own body. Giving permission for the voice to open deeper. Really inviting these sensations into the throat, feeling the consciousness of earth within your throat center. Listening to your own voice, listening to the presence, texture, vibration of earth around you. Listening to your own body. Feeling the earth listening to you. Receiving you. Feeling how she holds you in her body while you hold her in your body. Trusting in all that is arising beneath the surface beyond your awareness and understanding. Softening, surrendering, allowing this. Noticing if there is some aspect within yourself that you are not listening to. Creating space for. Allowing the spirit of earth into that space. Not needing to understand or know what you are feeling, what you are experiencing, allowing it into the voice, listening to it. Not needing to look for anything, not needing to find, experience, connect to anything. Just trusting in what is arising within the body, within the heart, within the voice. Trusting in the presence of earth all around you. And opening your heart to that which is being offered. Allowing yourself to receive it without needing to understand it. You are held and supported and guided always. You are connected always. Nothing is needed. Nothing is missing. Everything is enough. Beginning to offer your gratitude to your local earth grid, to the spirits of your land, to the ancestors of your land. Allowing yourself to really feel and find that gratitude in your heart. If you feel like offering a prayer, seating an intention, taking a moment to listen, to receive any little pulse, any little message, any little energy your earth grid is offering to you in return. And just feeling the reciprocity, the symbiosis. Intending for these connections, energies, codes, vibrations that have moved, that have been awakened to continue to anchor within the body, continue to unfold in their own way, in their own time, in perfect service to you. Inviting them to ground. Offering gratitude to yourself, to your blessed body, to your voice, to your journey, to every step of your path. Offering gratitude to everyone in this space. Feeling the co-creation, feeling the collective web. The prayers and intentions seeded into this space. You are a part of something greater. If you have not already, inviting you to come into silence and really take a moment to feel and witness your body, your energy in the silence. Noticing how you can still feel the vibration of your voice, still feel these codes and these energies of earth moving through you, feeling them echo throughout the body. Noticing your physical presence, the weight of your body in your seat, feeling the presence of gravity. Praying for the grounding, anchoring and embodiment of these codes, of this connection, of this eternal knowing, presence, awareness. And closing this space with love, with gratitude, with honor. Allowing yourself to slowly open the eyes. Come back into the room around you and really inviting you again to look around the room that you're in. Right? We're bringing this energy, this connection back into this moment, into this body, into where we are. Maybe looking out the window, looking out to the scenery around you. Today's call is in celebration of our equinox and of what it means to come together and join in collective earthkeeping. But it's also in celebration of the launch of this mystery school, something that I've been working on for over a year now, and now exists as a space to explore and for anyone to be an active part of if they choose. This space is rooted in earth, sound, and the feminine principle. And a really big part of this space is right relationship to earth. It is what it, being an earth keeper or an earth steward, being an ancestor, being a descendant. being a part of something bigger. And so the first Odyssey that's going to run through the mystery school is the Oracular Earthkeeper. And this is running from April 27th to June 22nd. It's based on a program that I held last year called Earth Oracle, the original seed. That was 2 weeks. And I've grafted, I guess, actually. So most of it is going to be all new. I'm keeping some of the essays, but I'll be creating new materials and holding totally new calls and weaving completely new spaces. This has taken on a completely different form actually over the past year, and there's a very new prayer and intention moving through it. I wanted to create a container that we could be together for an extended period of time, so it's a 2-month container. And I also wanted it not to be super material intensive, so there's actually time to sit with the materials but also integrate the calls. So there will be 10, 11 chapters of self-paced online materials. And 6 calls over the course of 8 weeks. This Odyssey is deeply in service to all the magical people who feel and hear the voice of Earth and desire to walk a path in service to her. We're going to go really deep into what it means to be an Earth Keeper. And there's going to be a lot of shadow work, a lot of decomposition, a lot of deconstruction. We're going to work with ancestry. We're going to work with vocal liberation, right? Liberating the voice as a medium for the spirit of Earth. We're going to explore the oracle of the voice, what it means to be an oracle, and mentor with the feminine principle. We're going to explore trance state, non-ordinary reality, communication with Earth, with her plants, with her spirits. And there's going to be space for participants, for co-creators to explore and unearth and claim, their unique path as an oracular earthkeeper, whatever title suits. And the live calls are going to be the heart and soul of these Odysseys. I live for live calls, for the connection, for the co-creation, for the conversation, for this like live energy that just happens and is organically born through our coming together. And I'm really excited because I'm co-facilitating and co-creating this with a really dear sister who is an earth keeper and a wisdom holder and really inspires me and has a really liberated relationship to her voice, and is an incredible channel and works a lot with earth energies and with the ancestors. So I'm excited for everyone to get to know her. We're probably going to do some Instagram live conversations just to like open up a space, to like feel the energy that we weave together and to feel her presence and what it is all of this is going to be about. I do want to talk about the investment because this is a big part of the mystery school. All Odysseys are offered at a recommended exchange, which is essentially a price range. And it's really important to me that these kinds of spaces are accessible to everyone and that money is not a barrier. There's actually no way to quantify the value of a container like this. And I'm sure anyone who's like woven these kinds of containers knows it's like such a mind fuck to like figure out pricing. And that's because ultimately like these spaces are invaluable. They are sacred offerings that cannot be quantified. And so there's no price that can be placed on it. And what you actually receive is directly a reflection of how you show up. So the price range that we've chosen for this is a range of between $450 and $750, $450 and $750. And we're calling $750 the full price. Right? That's the chosen full price, and $450 is our minimum. But it's not tiered pricing, and no one receives more because they pay more. You receive in reflection to what you bring to the space. For people who still feel deeply called to the space, but cannot maybe afford the minimum, maybe that still feels too steep, you're welcome to reach out personally because we'll find a way to figure it out. Again, money will never be a barrier to these spaces. It's been really interesting exploring and reorienting to energy exchange because it's a really big conversation. And because of the capitalistic society we live in, we equate exchange with money, right? When in reality, the true exchange isn't actual energy exchange, you know? And so what I'm really interested in is cultivating really sovereign, authentic energy exchange, and allowing pricing to simply be a compensation for time spent, energy spent. But ultimately, all of this is a gift. Like the offering is free. The time is compensated for, but the offering is free. And it feels really important to actually weave conversations like money, you know, into conversations around earth keeping, right? Decolonization, like rooting back into the original. And that means unlearning and deconstructing a lot of these programs and stories that we've carried for a long time. So, yeah, there's going to be payment plans available and lots of space for all of that. And if you want to read a little bit more about it, you can check it out on the website. You can reach out with questions, but ultimately, it's been an honor to share this space. And there are going to be, free calls like this that are offered through the Mystery School, because I really want to cultivate connection and community beyond just, again, like monetary exchange. And yeah, I'm really, really honored that you're here, and for all of those listening to the recording, honoring your presence as well and the thread you've brought in as well. And yeah, thank you all so much. Thank you to the earth. Thank you for everything that is a part of this, known and unknown.